Good morning, my friends. This is today's tarot. We actually had 5 cards come through for today. The opening card that we have for today is the 7 of Pentacles. The challenge that we're facing is the 9 of Pentacles. The way we're going to get through that challenge is the Star. And the overall outcome for today is 2 cards that came out at the same time. We have the Knight of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords. So we've got a lot of pentacles coming through today, which means that a lot of our energy and time and inner dialogue is going to be focused on material concerns, and how we think about things, like what we believe about our individual circumstances that we're in right now, and focused on that material aspect of our world, so to speak. So the opening card that we have for today is the 7 of Pentacles. And this is a card that's telling us to be patient around some material situation. So we may be looking for something to happen or waiting for something to happen and feeling a bit impatient, wanting it like yesterday. But this is reminding us that things take time, just like growing vegetables, just like growing a human being, just like growing anything. Things take time. We can't necessarily get things that we want to create yesterday, right? There's a season, there's a process to things coming into form. And so this reminds us to be balanced, to have our feet placed in 2 different places, in a sense, where we are and what we have to tend to today, and also with the understanding and anticipation of looking at how things are growing, how they're coming along. If you are a gardener, for instance, every year you take in information around what worked and what didn't work, and how this season was different than last season, and how that affected your crop. And so we can do this as well in our lives, and also understand that when we tend to things, we are growing them slowly and consistently over time. Our challenge that we're facing for today is another pentacle. It's the 9 of Pentacles. So this is a card that's speaking about, a challenge being kind of like this laziness, or like, I got to this point and I just want to rest a little bit, and resting a little bit too much, like keeping yourself more sheltered away from the world than is probably useful for you. You can see that the person that's in this card is in the foreground. They have this beautiful bird on their arm, and they're in a place of leisure, which is something that a lot of us want. And yet sometimes that leisure, if it's too anchored, if it's too stagnant, it gets in the way of us making strides towards that we're wanting to create and manifest. Now, the way that we're going to get through that challenge is the Star. So this is a major arcana, and that means that it's a major life lesson that we're working with right now. So how do you get yourself to move when you're in a stagnant place? This card is ruled by Aquarius, which is a sign that has this bigger perspective and a bigger range of view. And so when you can look at your own life and look at, the process that happened this last year, and maybe the process that happened the year before that, and the process that happened the year before that, and the process that happened the year before that, it gives you a perspective, and it gives you this range within your point of view around seeing how things ebb and flow, and there's this season and this cycle to things coming into form. And so it reminds you to always have this balance, to not get too identified with like the negative side of the scale, and to continuously put energy and effort into that which you want to create. Now, the Aquarius card is also, or the Star card, is also related to this energy of like detachment, like knowing that you're going to give fully to that which is around you and in your surroundings, and you're detached from what comes from it. In that way, we have less expectation in what's going on, and yet we also have faith and trust and hope that things are going to sprout because we've nourished them, because we've continued to water that ground. And it also is reminding us to take time to sit, to meditate, to be quiet, because it's when we can go into that place of sitting and meditation with a question, it's like we're putting something out into the universe, into the ethers, that opens up something for an answer, or waiting for something to be realized. So continue to have hope. If there is something that you are feeling a little down about, trust that things are shifting to move it into a better place, a place that is better for your being, even if it seems hard right now. The overall outcome for today is 2 cards, as I suggested, or mentioned before, rather. We have the Ace of Swords, and we also have the Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles is this energy of like solidness, moving very intentionally, very practically, very purposely, with anchored steps, as opposed to, steps that are inspired by the wind, that are very ungrounded, or steps that are inspired by fire, which are very like fast moving and consuming, or steps that are inspired by water, which is very cautious and slow, but moving intentionally. This earth energy is solid, and it's combined with the Ace of Swords, which is clarity. So if you have one sword, you can cut through that which is in front of your path, and then you can move forward very purposely and practically toward that goal that you are aiming to manifest. So if you feel like things aren't shifting, it's because you're in a place of waiting, and when it's time to move, you'll know where to take that step. Have faith and hope and trust that your own emotional body will inspire you when it's time to move. And keep planting your seeds. Keep nurturing your heart. I'll see you again tomorrow. Sending you so much love. Mwah.